Hey everybody, Greg Harrelson here with the Level Up podcast with my co-host Brendan Payne. Of course, just wanted to bring on another guest, and this guest is not only a great real estate owner, real estate producer, he's also become a good friend of mine over the years. So his name is Rett Harmon with Century 21 Novus out of Carrollton, Georgia. Brendan, have you ever been to Carrollton, Georgia?
I have not. I have got to plan a trip though.
Yes, and I tell
Yeah.
you what, Rhett likes to fish. So
Oh,
me and you need to go see him. He'll take us fishing, and he promises that we'll catch something. So Rhett, thank you for joining us, man. I really I've enjoyed getting to know you over the last 5, 6, 7 years, and excited to have another chat with you on the Level Up podcast.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having me. And I guarantee you'll catch a good time. I can't always get to fish, but we'll have a good time doing it.
I am sure of that. I'm sure
man,
that.
man, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, well, let's just jump right into some dialogue. I mean, there's been a lot going on. I mean, one of the there's so many things that have changed with COVID, right? And one of the things that changed is, we didn't get to travel as much and go on events, but, we were talking about a moment ago, we typically end up at the same events, especially within Century 21 and
Right.
do dinners and, and hang out and play credit card roulette and all those fun things. And I miss those things because we take a lot of things, away from those events and come back and we implement things in our company. But what are some shifts or things? Tell us a little bit about your 2020, how things have went in 2020 in your business, but also, maybe what kind of changes that you had to make, and then how you're going to approach 2021. I know that's a lot to unpack at one time, but what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think a lot of it really had to do with just kind of being prepared ahead of time. Even like this Zoom call right here. I know, great. We've been doing these for years. Because some of the groups we're part of and some of the things that we participate in, but Zoom already came natural. So we had to meet with someone over Zoom or have different meetings. That was a really, really helpful thing. And just learning from these dinners and things that we go to and just networking, having systems put in place to really work, utilizing things like not just having internal office staff, which is hugely important, but also maybe empowering them a little bit to have a virtual assistant to help with some of the monotony of some of the paperwork, to get all the listing data exactly right, show up perfect in all the different platforms and all that good stuff. But then taking it down to the agent level, this is kind of wearing the owner real estate owner hat for a minute. I don't have a broker's license, but taking the time to really make sure that we've got our systems in place, right, so that when all that paperwork's being filled out, we're not relying on. I still like my paper just for keeping up some of my personal notes, but turn that paper file over in the office was still a critical part a year ago from now for a lot of offices, especially in our market. So when this happened and everyone couldn't be right there together all the time and turn everything in, we'd already taken the year, maybe 18 months before that, and really broken it down and retrained everyone on how to submit everything digitally, completely, everything going through our internal system so that it's all there, everything's at the right place, right time, and then it's more seamless so that really we didn't skip a beat. Everyone could turn their information in and everything could work out from where everyone needed to work remotely for the few weeks that we were, kind of closed down, I guess you'd say. But being that we're essential, thankfully, we were able to just adapt and overcome and keep working. And our listings looked just as good or better as they always had versus not having breaks in pictures or not having things uploaded properly or lag times and things like that. Even agents getting paid. After there was a closing, that was a big scenario, just making sure that everything worked much more seamlessly. So we really could operate, I'd say about 98% capacity with everyone not even being in the office, which was really, really awesome to see that all come together, not even really thinking we would have to deal with something like this. So preparing for things like that. And then also looking at it as you're going through things and constantly looking at, well, how can we make this one little area slightly better? And that's where it just comes from having conversations with people like you guys that are far smarter than I am to learn what all you're doing and take little pieces of that and bring it back and try to implement it in areas of my business. And hopefully in those conversations, the one or two things that I might be doing well, someone else picks up on. So that's the game, just continue to network and doing it in different ways and just making sure that we stay connected and stay intentional what we're doing. And also always having a little bit of fear that we're not promised that deal tomorrow. We still wake up every day unemployed, and we've got to make sure that we're going to find that next deal or empower agents to find that next deal.
Yeah, that's good. I just really like the, because I heard so many real estate agents and owners of companies talk about reinventing themselves, that 2020 was going to be a year that's going to force them to reinvent themselves. And I have to admit, I put a lot of thought to that myself. And, but I found myself very challenged when it comes to reinventing, as if the old self is no longer good enough, and now I've got to have a new self. What I find is, I think kind of what you're alluding to is, it was really all about small adjustments, right? And we're fortunate that our business really didn't go down. COVID didn't knock the real estate industry down. Maybe somebody somewhere it affected them, but not in, I know in our markets it didn't. And most people I know it didn't. New York City, Manhattan, I know they're having some challenges still. But can you think of anything maybe that you weren't prepared for, that, maybe you said, okay, we definitely need to start doing this, and then that's going to now carry in even post-COVID? Can you think of anything on the top of your mind?
Yeah, and I guess we're all kind of dealing with this. No one was really prepared for like the desocialization, I guess. I don't know if that's even the word of everything, which has been probably one of the biggest challenges. Like, I like to see people, like, we're in real estate because we like people genuinely. Or generally, I guess you'd say, and we like to see people, see people's happiness, see people succeed, see people doing well, and just have conversations. It's great. You can get a lot out of at least seeing someone's face on the screen, but there's still a different connection there with it. So that's been one of the other challenges, having the meetings and things like that. We do a lot of events around our office with our agents. We did a few of those, kind of sporadically. We did a little more cautiously, but that's the part that's been the biggest challenge. I think that's where one of the biggest things that we bring to the table. However, it's also been nice to see that we've been able to grow and attract more people, even though we haven't been able to have exactly the same camaraderie, but we're still all there together. And, a little bit more activity and things like a closed Facebook group just for our office, or different things like that. Really just figuring out other ways to just make sure that we're plugged in, and that we keep up with everybody, and having staff that really love on our agents, and being able to keep up with what all they have going on in their lives. When myself, my business partner that own the brokerage, we run sales teams as well, so we don't always get to see all the little struggles everyone has, and having the right staff and a really good dynamic managing broker that we have in Sandy to really help sometimes just loving on some folks, knowing what's going on within their lives has been huge. So that's been a really, really big success in what we're going on. And then having that person always have someone to meet with to bring that new talent in when they are not getting anything from where they were working for in some cases, to be able to come on over. And that's been huge for us. I'm not sure if I answered that question right, but it was kind of in the same thought.
You answered it better than I could have imagined. So Brendan, you know Rett, and it's interesting that Rett's answer was, to paraphrase it a little bit, he says one of the things that he really focused on when it comes to change is recognizing that it was going to be harder to have personal touch with his people, which is so perfect for you to answer that way, Rett, because I wrote down on my notes that one of your strong things as a business person, I mean, building your business, like either personal production or the company, revolves around personal relationships. Now, when I'm talking about personal relationships, in that context, I'm talking about you're building your customer base built around personal relationships. But it's interesting that your answer was also revolving around personal relationships with the people in your office. So it's very clear that that's kind of like who you are. Not like I would imagine. I know you've got some charities, and one of them is around fishing with kids and whatnot. And I've always wanted to go down and join you for that event.
It's coming up March the 20th. You can come stay in our lake house. So both you guys, come on, we'll have you.
I will look at that, because I've been wanting to. You'll maybe before we get done, I want you to tell us about that charity, because I don't know if Brendan knows about it, but it's a really cool little thing. It's really
cool. And it's with Easter Seals too, which is our main philanthropy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, why don't you tell us a little bit more about, and how do you, I think that you've kind of created a scenario for yourself where you don't have to stress as much about all these disruptors that everyone's talking about in the real estate industry, because you pour all your attention in personal relationships to build your business. Now, with that being said, I'd love to give the audience some real like examples of how you nurture and develop these personal relationships and tie that into your business. Can you share that?
I will. I'll share one of the latest ones, and this is mainly from like a sales team scenario. So I'm a visual person, so I'll show you guys a couple of visuals. So this is just my sales team. So we did quarterly marketing postcards. If you guys aren't on my mailing list, I'll make sure to add you back to it. And if anybody wants to get on there, then shoot me a message. I always tell you it's 5 seconds of fun before you throw it in the trash once a quarter. I'm not selling you anything. We're just kind of staying in touch with our, our sphere of influence, the people we do business with, the people that maybe like us in some, or like what we're doing in some capacity. So we're in a pandemic. So that's some focus. We did a hamdemic at Thanksgiving. And what we did is, figure out a way to do a give back. We've been very blessed in business and very thankful for all of our clients. So what we did, I did a marketing campaign kind of around this to further build our, list of people that we just send this little card to quarterly. We gave away 20 honey baked hams during Thanksgiving, and got with a local grocery store, kind of worked with them around timing of when they were doing inventory and stuff. So there wasn't a lot of people there. Did a photo shoot, did some of the crazy shiny stuff with the pajama rolls, and just said thankful for you and sent it out, and gave away all those hams to people right before Thanksgiving, and said, hey, if you don't need the ham, if you win it, you can give it to someone that you like that is in need. So every one of them got picked up and were claimed, and it was really, really good. We had a huge response from that, and I never thought there would be that much attention around the ham. We're just trying to find a good play on words with it, and had an internal connection with a local manager there. But it was a lot of fun. But those are the kind of things that you can kind of pair things together. And I always try to look at when I want to do something. And this card for me represents the intentional doing something that we're trying to, a little bit from an entertainment standpoint, a little bit goofy, but mainly just keeping my face, our team's face, in front of our past clients, sphere, everybody else. Just reminding, hey, we're still in business. Hey, we're still in business. It's not asking to buy or sell or anything. It says follow us on our social media for shenanigans all year long. And a lot of our stuff we put out and we're very serious, and we're very, very good at marketing properties. And we sell all of our listings, most of the time, multiple offers, very quickly, represent our buyers to the fullest. Very serious about business, but we're also serious about having fun marketing for the way that we kind of portray ourselves, so that we want to be likable, want people to see that we are a little bit more laid back. Is that everyone's cup of tea? Not exactly. Do these crazy suits that I sometimes wear appeal to everyone? No, but at the same time, it's one of those things. You just find your little area, you work through that. But the personal relationship portion of it is so huge, because when people kind of pick up on what you're doing, you have a little bit of responsibility to stay with them and just remind them of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Brendan, what are your thoughts? I'm sure your mind, you're probably taking some notes here. What are your thoughts?
Well, just that little last section, just is for those that don't know Rett personally, there's nobody that's more authentic than you.
Yeah.
So that just is critical for anybody in their business. That you don't have to be that personality, but you have to be authentic. And I think that's a huge takeaway, because no matter who you're with or what you're doing, they're hiring you because they like you and they trust you and they want you to have the job, and they believe you're going to get it done. So I think that's huge. I heard a lot of, in 2020, versatility, if you didn't have it, you're out of luck. Like, you had to learn it really quickly. So I'd be interested with as much stuff that went on and how you adjusted and your team adjusted and you're able to, get everybody when they're working outside of the office. What do you see now? What have you taken away? So in the upcoming years, that versatility is it's just already baked in, so that we don't get too attached to one way of doing things, because it's COVID 2020, and in 2025, it could be something else that throws us for a loop
Right.
in the industry. So what are you going to do in the future?
Well, a lot of it, we're going to continue to do the things that work and try to make them, adapt in ways that are unique and creative and not look like the same thing over and over and over. But really just dive a little bit deeper and really just have a good grasp of our audience and our following, I guess, and really just try to listen and try to do what we can to stay with that. I guess trying to think the best way to answer the question there. If you, and I'm easy, my brain gets to going, fast with stuff. If you look at everything that you're doing and trying to figure out, how can it still work? How can it scale is the thing I think a lot of us look at. How can it scale? How can we still do what we're doing? But also, how can it still work if one of the members had to leave for some reason or had a different opportunity? Or more importantly, what if that job that team member, that person is doing with inside of your organization, what if now it doesn't take just one person, it needs like maybe 1.5 people to do that job. And then it might need 2, and then it might need 3. And it's really going back in and redeveloping those systems. It's kind of like, me example, like when I reestablished a sales team, retro group, by this time, 2018, I guess. So just a couple years into it. And Karen and Sarah, my 2 assistants had originally, I said, look, y'all, I want y'all to come with me on all my transactions, every deal we work on. This is how I handle, this is how I do business. And for a full year before we really even added a whole lot to what we were doing, other than having an agent or 2 working with us, just understanding how it all works. Well, now it's getting bigger and bigger and growing, adding more agents and additional staff and things like that, making sure that it's not just what Sarah did or what Karen did. It's the contract to close position. It's that marketing leg. It's that admin side. It's that making sure that we're that client concierge portion of what we're doing. So instead of us, 10 hats being worn by, 4 or 5 people, it's like, how can we just silo that a little bit better and then really just define those positions in a way that it's easier to scale and add people into it when we find the right fit for the person, and then we can just keep growing like that. And that's something I've actually hired a coach. I had coaching in the past, hired a coach, and really kind of first stages of this, but it's really helped me just dissect down a little further to get my time organized a little bit better, so that the things that I'm working on are more significant, or the most important things to do. So many times in business, when we do get busy, we've got to really take it back down to, I know there's a portion of things that I'm doing that I shouldn't probably be doing, but and it's not that it's bad. It's just like someone else could be doing it probably better than I could on my team. I need to be working on the things that only Rett can do. And then, but more importantly, not letting ourselves get held back from growing because we get so busy working in our job. That's what I miss the most, Greg, about going to these events, because we could work more on our business versus in our business. And we got those little breaks, just that 3-hour plane ride sometimes.
I was just going to say that. It's like, I don't know, like I probably got more work to and from an event on the plane than I did, in 2 weeks of being at the office. Yeah. No doubt.
It's almost like you just come off this buzz of like, oh, wow, I just like I had dinner with Greg Brennan last night, and we learned this, and well, they're doing this. And I don't really buy into that concept there, but he said that one thing is a missing part of what I need for here. I got to get it into my business.
Yeah. What was you going to say, Brendan?
Greg, that, if you asked, I think a lot of agents right now that are in markets that are just crazy, if they're focused on themselves or any development, it's not even in the realm of possibilities. They wouldn't even they're just wide open and saying, I just got to do this deal at a time where they could actually, with what Rett said, he hired a coach this year. Man, most people don't think like that. They're like, I'm too busy to find the next deal. I'm just, it's just going crazy. And then all of a sudden at the point where it's not like that, where they needed to learn from a coach and be ready for now a new market or new shift or new change, they're not, and they're scrambling. So I think that's huge. That's a takeaway. Somebody,
yeah, and we have so many great coaches inside of our industry. So I mean, I've worked with many of them, and as I have nothing but praises for all the ones I've ever worked with and the ones that I will probably work with in the future. But actually, I went a little bit of a different route. I went outside the industry for the coach I picked, and there was a silo type industry that I watched a guy kind of grow to aware in an area that I'm kind of wanting to grow more the way that I operate my business. So I looked at a lot of different options, and that's where I kind of thought it might make the most sense for what I'm doing. Cause then it's like the rah real estate stuff, which is great, but let's just really dive down and really get to the roots of some of these things and really just micro take it to that next level as we can, just fixing or tweaking those few little things that have significance across the whole board with it. But you're absolutely right though. It's just, it's crazy looking at it. go back in time for myself, 2006, 7, 8, my best years. I think my best year was 2008. We're in the South. It's a little bit slower for the way the recession wave kind of hit. I think I did 168 transactions that year by myself, didn't really have an assistant. And looking back on that, I was just blow and go in there and get a deal done, write a contract, go. We had electronic contracts in, did about half of them electronic, still did a lot of them paper. I kept stacks of, purchase sale agreements in my vehicle, and I'd write them on the kitchen table. Now, obviously cameras are everywhere in people's houses and they're listening to your conversation. So a lot of things are different the way we operated. But the thing is that I didn't build relationships the same way then as I do now. Mm-hmm. You didn't have time to. You had to go do the next deal. Let's just go make the money. We sit back realizing that you don't realize the faucet could just get turned off like that. And once you've gone through that through business, realize like I always wondered, like, is the next deal, when's it gonna be at that point? So I think if we're consciously aware of that, not paranoid, but just aware that, hey, things can change anytime, trying to keep a good pulse on what's going on, in the markets and other areas, but also, talking to other professionals, how's their business doing? What are the trends doing there? Right now, inventory is a big topic, not enough inventory. Been dealing with it for a while, but we were saying earlier, you can find listings if you're willing to go out there and talk to the people that you know, but you're more likely to get it from someone that you know. But it's kind of like, walking in a creek, flipping over rocks, looking for a crawdad. Like, you can find them. It's going to take you a while though. And that's just going through the people you know and going by and seeing them in person is when you can within safety measures, that kind of stuff. It really means a lot to a lot of people because they haven't had people stop by their shop in a while, and their foot traffic has been a little bit lower. So some of these little basic things we learned when we first got into business are so much more important now than they've ever been. But we just have to bring that back in full circle and be intentional with what we're doing, at the same time being smart about the way we're operating and then how we plan to operate to sustain ourselves. Because my ultimate goal for my sales team is, I have no desire or intentions, and I'm 41. I've been doing this, actually it's coming up on 20 years in June in real estate, but I don't have any intention or desires or goals of retiring. Like, that doesn't even sound interesting to me. I love to work. I think it keeps me relevant, keeps me going. I want to take a few more days off, might work with a few less clients or whatever, but I want to make sure that I can build a perpetual real estate team that will be survivable. It doesn't matter, even if I'm not part of it, I want it to still be able to work. The people that are part of it now, it's got to have people to make it operate and run all the other stuff. But if the database and the people are there, and you got the systems and the tools that work that well, you have really solid people handling the tasks that go along with it and carrying on the things that we do the right way. I think it's possible that you could cycle in and out different people as long as they're there for the long haul and the right reasons and buy into the culture of it. I'm trying to build that perpetual machine that could outlast even me or anyone that's even part of it now, and then always have other people as part of it, and then have other opportunities as it grows. Like I said, I don't ever see myself not wanting to be a part of it, but my goal is to have something that could work if I'm not there. And I think that's the ultimate test. And I realized that was one of my biggest ahas or weaknesses, with inside the code. But it's like, we got really, really busy this past year and working. And the second that I would step away from it, everything would keep working, but the growth portion of it, the new business portion of it, was not anywhere near the same level as it needed to be without me driving that force. So that's where we had to realize how to be more intentional with some of the things that we're doing. And that's the level I think we have to really look at our businesses and you got to walk away from stuff a little bit, step away. What, did the wheels fall off, or does it just slow down? Or does it slow down to maybe going 60 miles an hour to 40 miles an hour? You can coast at 40 miles an hour for a long time before the cops might pull you over for driving too slow.
Yeah,
that's the right analogy or not, but you kind of think about it like that.
No, I think these are things that we all should be thinking about. It's like, okay, just to kind of recap here, instead of thinking about what the next big thing is, think about how to get a little bit better in the things that you're already doing. That's a much better way to control growth and to experience growth with a lot less risk. The next thing that I'm taking here is just like, hey, if you're worried about all these disruptors and the Zillows and the showing times and all these conversations out there, just remember The risk is when you're going through business and you're not building personal relationships. That's where the risk is. So that's another takeaway that I'm getting from you. And then personal relationships, you've got quarterly cards, you're stopping by and doing pop buys and things like that. Those are all things that matter. And then the last thing that you just, shared is, you got to be thinking about how to get the business to run without you, not that you want the business to be without you, but when you know that you've got it to run without you, then you've got good systems in place. You've got good people in place. And that, if anything, is not the motivation to retire, just the motivation to know that you've got a very solid business, a solid operation. Before we get off the phone, tell us about one of your charities. You have a charity around fishing and children that I've always, it's always caught my attention. And I think it's coming up, you said March 20th. So what's that charity about?
It's called Reels for Seals. So you can go to Reels for Seals on Facebook, REELS, and then FOR, and then Seals. And basically, Reels for Easter Seals is, guess, the full name for it. So when we joined with Century 21 in 2014, I was not that familiar. I'd heard about it. I didn't really know much about Easter Seals. And from some of the events I've gotten to attend and getting to know the local Easter Seals in North Georgia that serves our area, they have an early intervention program for children from birth to about 8 years old that have some kind of disability, and all walks of life, all different scenarios. And it's amazing how they can work and empower children to be the best, live the best life they can, get counseling for the parents. It's not just for the people that can't afford anything. That's not just for the elite. It's for everyone in between as well. So Reels for Easter Seals is a not-for-profit that teaches kids about fishing, outdoors, and what it means to give back. But our main efforts are fundraising to give the money to Easter Seals. So our event is a crappie tournament at Lake Wedowee, the edge of Alabama, right near part of our market. We have a little lake property there, but it's a very inclusive fishing tournament coming up on March the 20th. I know it's a stretch to ask this audience to come down there, but we are giving away a really cool kayak this year. One of our agents won it last year, and she decided to go ahead and donate it back so we could re-raffle against about $1,000 boat. And her name's Carol Cook. We thank her for doing that again. Never been used, has been in stores the whole time. We were going to do it over the summer, but it wasn't really an appropriate time. So bringing it back again for this. So a lot of fundraising efforts go into it, but it's really neat seeing how people can come together. A lot of local businesses do this. We do a shirt every year. We just finished up our fundraising efforts, and Greg, I'm happy to announce that we actually exceeded our goals. Our 6th year of doing it. Last year was our biggest year. Of course, we pulled our event off literally about a week before the pandemic really exploded, I guess. So now, going through all that, there are a lot of companies that are still doing this. Now, some of them changed levels of sponsorship. Some went up, some went down, but there are still people that are doing okay out there. People willing to, regardless of where their business levels really are, they're still willing to be a part of a worthy cause. And I think that's neat because, they're seeing what the impact it has there. So happy to be a part of that and really have fun with it. It's a way to participate. I love to fish with my kids, and I'm gonna mention you represent the shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Yeah, you gave me this T-shirt, and I see the sticker in the back on the wall.
So I'll try to. I keep one on my phone, kind of remind me. I'm gonna put it up here on the screen for you guys. Yeah. There's for a real estate professional. I got a little Facebook group that's out there. You can kind of be a part of it, but if you look at this random real estate logo, I had this design, and if obviously see I got the random suits and all the other. So the logo itself has some unique characteristics to it. I have to kind of look at it. So the R has a tie in it. It kind of represents my suits. The A has people in it. That represents my family. Inside the D is like windows and a door, represents real estate portion of what I do. Or something. And the D has a fish kind of swimming inside of it. The O has a microphone. I like to do some public speaking. A little bit of karaoke. I think Greg got to do some karaoke.
You love karaoke.
I love it. Yeah, I've got one hit wonder with it. And then on the M has a film strip in there. I like to do video marketing and highlight other businesses through video. So all of that is there. So I always kind of ask people random to real estate. It can be random to whatever, but what is your random? Like, what are the things that you do that just kind of come natural? You're already doing these things. It's part of your life. It's part of what you're doing. And I tell people, you kind of find your people, find your tribe. If you can do the things you're already doing, those random things, and be intentional about maybe showcasing a little bit of your social media posts around it. Maybe make a little video about it. Maybe go a little bit deeper. You've got a weird hobby or an interesting sport you used to play. Maybe you want to kind of bring that back out. There are other people that have those interests, and with all the different technologies and the different media platforms that are out there, social media platforms, you can find these people a lot easier. And by doing so, you already have a common bond. So when you have a common bond with somebody, this is where these personal relationships come involved. If they already you already kind of know about this thing together, it's just like with me fishing. All right, then you're able to already have a level of conversation. You're already kind of participating in some of the same things. Maybe you could give some advice, get some advice, whatever. They're already going to kind of know, like, and trust you. And then the referral portion of whatever it is you do for a living, whether it's real estate or anything else, it could be a mechanic, it could be a whatever. They're going to want to send business to you, even if they're not in the market themselves, just their referrals, because they already like, know, and trust you. And that makes it so much easier to get business versus going and paying for lead somewhere and maybe getting 1 to 3% or 7% or all these crazy numbers that people come up with. So that's a lot of people to talk to in the meantime just to get that, versus just being yourself and being intentional and putting a little bit of effort into what you're doing to attract a lot of people. And then you can further build off that. So I think a lot of people get caught up in, we're talking about relationships, and like they think there's going to be some huge commitment. It's just being yourself around other people, and like I said, being intentional, and then showing a little bit of reciprocation back. And I think that's really neat. So I'm gonna have a class. I can't wait till the next time we have an event, we get together, and maybe we figure out a way to do it over Zoom. But I've got a little random logo, just as hollow or outlined letters. What is your random? And let people kind of fill in what they have, and if they wanted to go in and use that as kind of a representation of when they get stuck on trying to figure out what do I need to make a video about, or what do I need to be doing. Well, these are the things I like to do. I used to play lacrosse. I want to get back involved with helping with that, or whatever it is. That's how I think we can easily get ourselves unstuck, be more intentional, and more importantly, have a little bit of fun. You got to mix fun into what you're doing. It reciprocates that. It's kind of like when I was telling people, our agents that are working with us, if someone asks, how's the market, you always got to have a good fun or good, positive, confident spin on what that is, because we know that they probably know someone that's either thinking about buying or selling. If you just, the market's terrible, there's no inventory, but if you start coming off kind of negative or whatever right there, people don't want to hire someone or not really interested in engaging with the person that's negative. They want that person's excited. The market's actually really great right now. Things are selling. We're getting over asking on a lot of things. You'd be amazed at what your property's worth. When you start putting things out in that positive way, it really takes it to another level for why people want to engage and work with you. And if you can do that in other aspects of your life, the effort we put in, just going over and over different postcards, different quarters, we do this, they see we have a good time. We're smiling. We're doing something a little goofy. Always have something that's a little different. It's kind of like, what are they doing next? But they see that we enjoy what we're doing. And because of that, it just works.
It's more of an attraction strategy. It's more of an attraction. You're attracting the perfect clients for yourself, because you're putting yourself out there, so then the perfect people show up for you.
Exactly. It's the eye contact, it's the firm handshake, it's the smile. You want people you want to welcome people, and you can do that so easily by just doing the things you already do. And I can get long-winded on this stuff because I'm so passionate about it, but it's it just comes natural more to some than others, but we can all do this, and we can all build our business better.
Yeah, be authentic, right, Brendan? Just it's authenticity. Well, good. Well, Rett, I appreciate you, and I know Brendan does also, for you always being willing to contribute. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, send you a referral or something, what's the best, most easiest way for them to reach out to you?
Absolutely. I give out my cell phone number. It's 678-520-6381. Text me, give me a call. Definitely leave me a voicemail if you do call, because you're not a telemarketer. I'm just kidding. It's hard to catch them all. Just being silly. But Random Real Estate's a group. Century 21 Novus, Century 21 Novus Retro Group, RETTRO, on Instagram, Facebook, all these different platforms. And Rett spelled with no H, just RETT HARMON. So at Rett Harmon, pretty much most platforms that are out there that are popular, I'm part of it. So find the one you like, and some I'm more active on than others. But reach out to me. I'm happy to help any way I can. And I always tell people, go look at the YouTube channel, Random to Real Estate. That is probably where we house a lot of our stuff for Century 21 that we're doing, my team, other things that I'm working on. R&D, rip off and duplicate. If you find a video that we've done that you like, or it sparks an idea for you, make it better. I challenge you to. I mean, you've got full permission to go ahead and do it, and gives you ideas to make your business better. I come from a place of abundance. We can all learn from each other. If there's enough business to go around, we can all do better by upping the game across the board. So let me know how I can help, and I'm always here.
Sounds good. And I know, Brendan, you and I, people just reach out to us on Facebook Marketplace. Is that what you still like, Brendan?
Yeah.
No, I said Facebook Marketplace, Facebook Messenger.
Marketplace.
Yeah, I'm buying too many tools off of Marketplace right now.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's in my mind.
No,
I'm looking for a welder. I'm looking for a welder.
You need to buy that boat and come fishing with us, right?
There you go. There you go. All right, everybody. Well, Level Up podcast audience, thank you so much for tuning in. Please, subscribe, leave us a comment, continue to watch other episodes. If you're interested in any real estate, related courses, Brendan and I, as well as Abe Safa, have done some nice real estate courses. You can go to realestatesales.com, check out what we got going on. And until the next time, Rhett, thank you so much, man. Talk to you later, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.